Okay, in this lab exercise, we're going to be completing string methods. So we want to ask the user to enter a sequence of words, right? So we want to ask them to enter some words with the input function. Your program must count the number of characters in the sentence. Okay, you're going to determine if the sentence ends with a period or full stop. Also going to replace all instances of the letter E with I. You're going to remove the space inside of the sentence, and you're also going to display the modified sentence. Okay, so first, what we should do, we should ask the user to enter some words. So let's call this variable user input. All right, we're going to set the input. We're going to ask the user or request that they enter some words. Okay, ask the user to enter some words. Okay, so next we want to count the number of characters in that sentence, right? So we could say character count or char count. We're going to set that to be len. We're going to wrap our user input inside of that len function, right? So let's print our character count and see that this is working properly. So we run, let's enter some words. Hello world, right? And it's going to tell me that I have 11 characters. Okay, nice. Next, we want to determine if the sentence ends with a period or full stop. Okay, we want to check or determine if the sentence ends with a period or full stop. So we could use that same method that we talked about, the end with method. So we could say, let's call this end period, and we're going to set that to be user input dot ends with, and we want to check if it ends with a dot. Let's also print that end period variable. Run our program. So we're gonna say, how are you? Okay, that is correct. Our sentence does not end with a period. So what happens if it did? So we're gonna say hello world, and we're gonna end it with a period, and that's gonna now print true. Okay, so let's move on. Next, we're gonna replace all instances of the letter E with I. So we want to use that dot replace method. Okay, so we're gonna rename this replace underscore E, right? And we're gonna say username or user input dot replace. And remember, our first argument is going to be the letter that we want to replace. So we want to replace E, and the second argument is going to be the new letter or the new character that you want to replace E with, or your first parameter with. I'm going to set that to I. So I also want to print out replace E. Let's run our program again. Going to say hello, hello, hello. So it tells me I have 22 characters. My sentence does not end with a period, and it replaces all instances of E with I. Okay, nice. So next we wanna remove all space inside of the sentence. We wanna remove all space inside of the sentence. Okay. So we could use that strip method, right? We could use the strip method. So let's create a new variable. Let's call it remove underscore space. We're going to say user input dot strip. That's going to remove the spaces around my sentence. Right, so if I run my program, let's print remove space. So we're going to say hello. Oh, I forgot to include spaces around my and I want to show you something, right? And it's probably a question inside of your head already. Well, you might be saying, well, Mr. Collins, technically it didn't remove all of the spaces inside of this print function. It only removed the spaces before the strings and after the strings. So here's what we can do. We can instead use the dot replace, right? And we could say we want to replace spaces with an empty space or just an empty string. So this one has a space and this one is just a string, right? So there's no space in between. So let's run our program. Let's see if that works. And there we go, right? So we replace all of the spaces with an empty string, right? So what we should do now is we want to display the modified sentence. We want to display the modified sentence, which we've been doing actually. So that last remove space is actually the modified sentence. Okay. Actually, no, it isn't. So we want to include. We actually want to replace user input dot replace, and we want to say replace e dot replace with an empty string, right? So now we can say hello, how are you doing today? So we hit enter. It's now going to display that modified sentence. Okay, so that is lab exercise string methods.